Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the fight that we've been wanting forever. This is the one that we've been waiting years to get. We constantly been getting teased about.
I want Terence Crawford next.
Well, you already know who I want. I've been calling them out all day.
Back and forth. It's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. It's the team. It's the networks. Whatever the case may be. But it's always been the fish that got away. Always been the one that stayed a little bit out of our grasp. But now we're here, man. That's it. This is the fight that we've been waiting for. And it's finally the Christmas present that's delivering for us in July. Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. I got to tell you, I could not be more excited, man. Both of these men are at the absolute top of their game, and they are going to come out here and they are going to deliver. But here's the thing. We've been listening to all of the experts. We've been listening to what everybody has to say. If you guys are like me, you've been consuming every single piece of content that you've been able to get your hands on YouTube. You've been listening to everything back and forth in the press conferences and all kinds of other stuff. Now, ideally, I would have gotten this video out a little bit earlier. But at the same time, now that we're here, I'm kind of glad that I did. Right? And I'll tell you why. Here's the thing. When I've been thinking about this fight for years, every time I played it out in my head, every time I've been watching back and forth, every time I've been thinking about it, I've been coming out with Terence Crawford on top. I've been thinking that it's going to be a gunfight, man. It's going to be a slug match. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be very technical at times. It's going to be going back and forth. It's going to be a will of attrition. Both of these men are going to show up in peak physical condition, in prime shape, but Terence Crawford is the better boxer. Terence Crawford is the guy who's got more tools in his bag. Terence Crawford is the guy, in my opinion, who's a little bit more skilled. And it's not just my opinion. As we've been watching things more and more go on, we've seen a lot of people say that, particularly Sean Porter, a man whose opinion I have the utmost respect for. Not only has he been at the highest levels as a world champion in the game, but he's done it recently. And when we talk about this fight specifically, he's a man who stepped in there with both of them. And I love the fact that he's always so honest. He's always so open and raw. And he's come out there and he said, look, I didn't necessarily prepare in that Terence Crawford fight the way that I was supposed to, the way that I prepared for that fight with Errol, the way that I went in there for him. But then he also says, make no mistake about it, the Errol Spence that I fought is not as good as the Errol Spence that's going to be going in there today against Terence Crawford. He's a man who's continued to get better. He's a man who's continued to progress. And this whole time, I've always gone with Terence Crawford, right? And I had to ask myself, really why? As we sit here now, fight week, we're getting ready for this. I got to sit down and I got to break down and I got to analyze why. Like I said, he's got more tools in his bag. I think he's got a better jab. I love the way that he uses his footwork and moves around the ring. I think he sets up his shots a little bit better. I love the counter punching. I like how he's able to go forward and be aggressive with it. I like the switch hitting. I mean, he's a two-fisted puncher in the sense that he can put some hurt on you with both hands. You know, he's quick. He's got combinations. He can mix the combinations up. He doesn't come in with preformed patterns. What else are you looking for, man? What more do you want? And he's gone out there and he's proven it time and time and time again. The one thing that you could say is that you wish that he had a little bit better resume, wish that the level of competition was a little bit better going in. I get it, but look, everything can't be perfect. He comes out here and he gets a win against Errol Spence. That resume ain't going to have any complaints then. There's not going to be anybody talking about how his resume is weak or light or anything else. All they're going to do is want to shake that man's hand and say that he's the best fighter of his generation. But now that we're here at Fight Week, picking Errol Spence to win. You know, I switched it up at the last minute and I feel it's because of, I don't know, it's this vibe that I'm getting about Fight Week, man. Now that we're here, now that we're looking at stuff, I don't know exactly what is it. Was it the way Terence Crawford was looking with the black hoodie on, like it's the nasty weight cut? You know, we don't think about him having a nasty weight cut coming in. We think about him, he was obviously the smaller man. He's moved up in weight. We always talk about how Spence looks so big. He's for the division, and can he make 147? It's a tough cut. He said he's moving up after this one and all these kinds of things. But that doesn't mean that Terence Crawford just can't go out there and for some reason now, today, this time, this fight, he has a bad weight cut. There's something about it. I just didn't like the way that he looked. You know, he was getting all agitated and everything. You know, Spence talked about how he was getting emotional at the press conference. He's going back and forth with that dude in the audience. I don't think those are things that put him in the best frame of mind and put him in the best position for what's likely going to be the toughest fight of his career. You know, and when I look at Spence, obviously I love everything this man brings to the table. Love the pressure, love the aggression, love the work rate. Love the way he uses that left hand. Love the way he uses the jab to frame everything and get it moving. Love the way he cuts the ring off. Just a dog, doesn't quit, goes in there. He's got a chin. As I said, Terence Crawford has some more tools in the bag. And I think he's going to shine early in this fight. Man, when they're fresh, Terence Crawford's legs are going to look good, man. He's going to be able to set some shots up. He's going to look sharp. He's going to come over the top with that jab. Love the way he comes over the top with that jab. Right, the counter jab over the top. He'll be spinning out, particularly to the right when he's in that southpaw stance, and he'll have that right hand, and he'll come over the top almost like a little spear. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. But as this fight goes on, as we get into the middle and the late rounds, I think the pressure and the aggression, the avalanche that Errol Spence brings to the table is going to be what says the difference. The body work that he puts in. The way he's able to get in there and dig with those left hands. I think it's going to be controversial. I think it's going to be incredibly close. But when it's all said and done, I think Errol Spence Jr. is going to be the man who has his hand raised. So let me know what you guys think of my underestimating Crawford brings to the table. Do you think it's going to be exactly like I said, just a dogfight, slugfest? But Crawford comes out with the victory, which is also incredibly believable. I mean, man, this is the one that we've been waiting for, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's one of those, like everybody talks about, a throwback slugfest like from the 80s, man. Like we're sitting here watching Hagler Hearns or Leonard Hearns.